Hello and welcome back to Green Money Momentum, where we talk about market movements, making money, and money momentum. I'm your host, Trevor, and today we're going to be doing a comparison between two companies that both offer financial services. So we're going to be looking at Robinhood, and we're going to be comparing that next to SOFi Technologies. We're going to be looking at the technicals and fundamentals to see which is the better investment over the long term. And if we just go back in time and look at the last year, so the trailing 12 months, had you invested into SOFi a year ago today, we could see that the stock is up 105%. So a pretty wealthy return on investment. But had you invested into Robinhood, you would have seen double that performance, as Robinhood over the last year is up 211%. And then if we just compare on the short term, we could see that if we invested into SOFi with the lows right around Liberation Day, that we would be up 50%, while the same could be said with Robinhood, doubling their performance, up more than 100% over the same period. And so now the question is Robinhood that much better of a company for it to double the performance than SOFi? What is the truth here? So we're going to be looking at the financials and everything to do with both of these companies. But before I do, as always, this is not financial advice, and I always recommend doing your own due diligence before making any financial decisions. So when we look at these companies, we're going to first compare them when it comes to their earnings over time. So first we have here on screen Robinhood, and we could see just looking at their earnings reports over time that they are seeing positive growth. And so this company has been growing over the years, and what's really positive is for quarter four of 2024, Robinhood hit their biggest quarterly yet. So their best quarter ever with 1.1 billion in revenue. So a big accomplishment for any company that hits this, and a massive accomplishment for Robinhood. We could see that for quarter one of 2025, it did slightly trail down, but still a massive quarterly, especially when we compare it to previous quarterlies. So over the last two quarters, massive growth in Robinhood. And then when we look at SOFi and their earnings over time, this is a company that looks very strong. As we could see with each earnings report, it just gets better. So over time, SOFi has been showing strong earnings, with their strongest quarter being the last one, quarter one of 2025, with 770 million. And something else to note, when we look at both of these companies, not only do they have strong quarters when it comes to revenue, but they are also in the net positive. So many times when looking at companies, you could see they'll have big revenues, but still come in at a net loss, a lot of the times just because of research and development costs or other. And so when we look at SOFi, we could see that their earnings per share is 0.17, while Robinhood's is higher at 1.29. Earnings per share just showing what the company is earning in terms of revenue to the share. So with each share, Robinhood is earning greater when it comes to their revenue. So a strong sign there. And then when we look at market cap, Robinhood is also at a higher market cap. So right now, SOFi's market cap just at 15 billion, while Robinhood is at 66 billion. So a much larger market cap with Robinhood, and also their price to earnings ratio is not as high as SOFi's technology. So just comparing these two side by side, the price to earnings ratio is higher for SOFi, showing that investors are willing to pay a higher premium. Basically, what price to earnings is showing is forward future growth. So companies with a high premium means that investors are willing to pay more for the potential within the company over time. But personally, this metric right here and everything I see is a big reason why I invest into Robinhood instead of SOFi. So currently, I am not in SOFi. So SOFi does have more shares outstanding. So more shares available for purchase at 1.11 billion, while Robinhood has just 770 367 million shares outstanding. So if you were to invest into Robinhood versus SoFi, you do get a bigger piece of the pie. What shares outstanding are, if you don't understand, it just shows how many shares are out there available for purchase. So there is significantly more SoFi shares out there for purchase. And then there is also this right here, which made me more bullish on Robinhood while making me a bit bearish on SoFi. Again, not to kick down SoFi. I think there could be growth over time, but I believe it will be much slower, especially when we look at this. So during the first quarter of 2025, Robinhood repurchased 322 million worth of Class A shares. And so what this is going forward is Robinhood has a robust buyback program that they are actively executing right now, as it shows 322 million in the first quarter with another 833 million to go. So they're looking to purchase back a total of over $1 billion worth of shares. The complete opposite could be said when we look at SoFi Technologies. So just think about that with Robinhood. The company is looking to purchase back their shares. So there is currently 700 million shares out there, but the company is looking to take back some, meaning that your shares become more valuable over time. While with SoFi, it is not the same to be said. So they have been actively diluting shares, and this is through employee equity grants and convertible instruments. And so they do have a rising share count, as this shows, stood up to 1.18 billion, up 13% year over year. And so basically, this company will continue to dilute investors over time for their employees. So you could look at this two ways. If you're more about workers' rights and you want workers in general to see more fair of compensation, well, that is a positive. These representatives, these employees at SoFi are earning, but it is at the cost of the shareholders. And so that's where it comes into question. Are you more about the employees earning the money, or as a shareholder, do you want to earn the money? Because with SoFi diluting over time and the employees being the beneficiary of these compensation programs, I foresee continued dilution in SoFi over time. And something that I think really frustrates many SoFi investors from this slow growth is SoFi really is more of a bank stock than technology. So some talk about the AI used behind SoFi or their technical instruments, but it's really not much different than many other financial players. And just as it says, when you look at the description on Barron's.com, it says that SoFi's Technologies is a financial service platform which engages in the provision of service loan refinancing options to the private student loan market. It operates through the following segments: lending, technology platform, and financial services. So we can see it does say technology platform, but really it is all about financial services. And so what recently put a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt into investors of SoFi is when Robinhood did come out with this big news. So SoFi, known for being a banking platform, and you could invest with SoFi, but now Robinhood is looking to do that exactly. So they are launching their banking product, so you could have checking, savings, you could still have your portfolio, your investments, you could have a 401k, you could sports gamble, you could do crypto on Robinhood. So you could basically do everything. And then when we return back just to the price to earnings ratio, SoFi investors are paying a higher price to earnings ratio. So they are paying a larger premium for their shares of SoFi, which are being diluted, while Robinhood investors are paying a lower premium for their shares to actually be bought back over time. And overall, when I just look at the growth behind both of these companies, I personally believe over the next 10 to 20 years that Robinhood will remain stronger, because in general, there are just more investors on Robinhood, and culture wise, I see that Robinhood looks to be stronger. So if we just talk about culture, many more young people go on Robinhood. It is a first brokerage for many. And also, it is really the culture all around Wall Street bets, where you can't really say the same with SoFi Technologies. I would argue that most people who don't use their platform, their app of SoFi, the only reason why they know them is because of the NFL stadium, where with Robinhood, it is all around you. You see commercials about it all the time. Many of your friends have a Robinhood portfolio. You may have a Robinhood portfolio. Again, going forward and growth over time, many young people hop into Robinhood, and I believe this trend will only continue. And as the years continue, those investors in Robinhood only continue to earn more money from their investments, from their paychecks, and only continue to pour more money into Robinhood, meaning more money for the company over the long term. And Robinhood is really taking advantage of the mass adoption into cryptocurrency as well. So you could do a lot with cryptocurrency with Robinhood, and they just did acquire Bitstamp as well. So increasing their crypto platforms, and there was talk about Robinhood possibly being added to the S&P 500 most recently with the calibration, but we didn't see that happen. But something to think about for the future. You are investing into Robinhood. That is a future catalyst that you could look forward to, as well as everything else that is going on with Robinhood. So to finish off the video, I am invested into Robinhood, but not SoFi. And once again, I do think that SoFi will continue to see growth over time. I do believe that their revenue will continue to increase, but I believe with their share dilution that investors will continue to stay frustrated in the slow-moving SoFi Technologies, while investors in Robinhood will only continue to see more growth over time. But I would be curious to hear what everyone else thinks down in the comments section below. So please drop a comment. Let me know if you're invested into either SoFi or Robinhood, what your experience with either of these stocks are, or what any other stocks that you may want me to talk about. So please drop a comment, please leave a like, and please subscribe to the channel. And I thank you guys as always for being here, and I will see you in the next daily talk of stock.